Hey YouTube, there is an electric and poison type event with Toxel during the Into the Wild event, so it's called Into the Wild. So what we're going to do, what we always do, is go over the event details and look at it from the GBL perspective, which Pokemon you need to focus on catching in this event that will help you with GBL. That being said, I will give you the analysis based on what is meta now. Note, the season turns over in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, there will be a bunch of move updates. We don't know what those are, so some things may change. So the safest thing is just like catch everything. But I'll focus on the ones that are good for now. And if I see any ones that are like, oh, this thing could be meta, if it had a good move, then I'll kind of signal it. So it's time to explore the unknown before Pokemon Go Wild Area Global kicks off, which I guess I should learn what that is. Look at electric and poison type Pokemon Monday to Friday. So basically a full 5 days here. Pokemon debut Toxel will be available to hatch from 10-kilometer eggs for the very first time. Especially fortunate trainers might hatch shiny Toxel. So love when they hide behind 10-kilometer eggs, and especially fortunate hiding shinies there. Again, I'm not a shiny hunter, so I don't really care. Enhance your experience with paid. Nope. There you can read. I'm not promoting paid stuff. If you want those, you can look at those. Okay, the following Pokemon will appear more frequently: Ivysaur, Bellsprout, Weepinbell, Graveler, Magnemite, Magneton, Ghastly, Haunter, Mareep, Flaffy, Roselia, Gulpin, Luxio, Skuntank, Whirlipede, Emolga, Fungus, Dedenne, Grubbin, and Togedemaru. In raids, we have some good ones coming, but for 1 day only here, it looks like. Tuesday, the 19th, Nilego, 20th, Tapu Koko, but 21st, Origin Form Dialga, and 22nd, Origin Form Palkia, which are very good. Max battles, don't care. The remote raid pass limit will be increased to 20 during this time. There will be no remote raid on the 22nd to 24th. I'm guessing that's when the event is, which I'll have to look up and cover that when it happens. Collection challenges, field siege rewards, event bonuses. As part of the Into Wild event, trainers will enjoy the following bonuses during this Max Out Monday. Increased chance to get Rare Candy XL for max battles while challenging the Dynamax Drillbur. So there you go if you want potential more Candy XLs. Okay, so there's a lot of Pokemon on this list. And let's look at potential ones that are good. So right off the bat, there's a lot of grass, right? So I'm just going to put in grass because there's what is essentially Venusaur, Vic, not Gallade, Roserade, and a couple other grass. I think grass down here, but they're kind of useless. So I'll put in the grass. Grass is kind of like not good, right? There's some good grass Pokemon that people have been using. Superior Chestnut is sort of like superior just because it's bulk and hard hitting. Chestnut because it's kind of a core breaker. But as the Pokemon mentioned, we need to go down to all the way to 100 for Venusaur. And Venusaur, the non-shadow is better. For those of you who have used the shadow versus non-shadow in the Great League, the shadow was preferred before because a lot of times one frenzy was enough to take out. I think it's at the point where some of the main meta, perhaps one frenzy is not enough to take out from the shadow, and just taking that extra damage. Venusaur is already very glossy in the Great League, so just to take that extra damage does not make much sense. So the regular Venusaur is at 100. It's got some good matchups against. Again, it's going to kill ground. It's going to beat Clodsire, which is nice because it's half poison as well. So you're only taking neutral from those poisons as opposed to Superior, which is taking super effective because it's just a grass. And then you got the waters and even the water ice, which is nice. But you lose to Feraligatr. That's hilarious. Then, yeah. So anytime the starter gets its community move, Frenzy, Blast Burn, Hydro Cannon, it pretty much becomes meta. I do think that there are other grass that I would probably use before I use Venusaur. Chestnut, Superior, Abomasnow, maybe even Ferrothorn, even Meganium. Like, actually, Meganium and Venusaur are kind of interchangeable at this point. So, you know, you can get it, but you don't need to get it. And then the other ones that I kind of mentioned, Shadow Vic, How the Mighty Have Fallen. Where are you, Vic? There's 234. Did I miss the Shadow version? Or are you that far down now? Shadow Vic down at 370 with Magical Leaf. And a meta that has got a lot of ground in it. That's somewhat surprising considering that Flyers got nerfed. It is... Maybe you want to just use the fast move Razor Leaf and just do like Razor Leaf damage from Shadow Vic as opposed to Magical Leaf. With Acid Spray, like that's kind of a weird moveset. Magical Leaf, Acid Spray, Leaf Blade. Like if you're going to run Magical Leaf, you probably want to run like Sludge Bomb to actually do some damage. The difference, as you can see here, between Razor Leaf, you're just like raw. I'm just doing okay. 6.48 damage per turn with very low energy. So Magical Leaf does a good amount of damage, 4.8, but charges a bit faster, 3.33. So with that 3.33, you can get to Sludge Bomb in 5.555, as opposed to Acid Spray, which is 5.454. So it'll only have one more turn on the second and the fourth to do 100, basically like 80 to 100 more damage. Sludge Bomb just makes sense. And the reason you run Acid Spray is if you want to lower the opponent's defense, which you want to do if you're running Razor Leaf to just do the fast move damage, right? But Magical Leaf, yes, it hurts, but it's not a true fast move damage. Like if you watch my video maybe yesterday afternoon, I talked about the only two fast move damage, really true fast move damage moves are Razor Leaf and Charm. So I like if you're gonna run Acid Spray, run Razor Leaf. If you're gonna run Magical Leaf, run Sludge Bomb. It would be my opinion, but it's kind of gone down a bit there. A Graveler, Magnemite, Magneton. There is nothing really on this list that is useful. I was just going to go through every single one, but they're really... Actually, Mareep and Flaffy, because those go into Ampharos. And maybe Ampharos is not as good in the Great League, but it probably has way more play in the Ultra League. So 296 and 318 in the Great League. Again, the Great League is dominated by ground-type Pokemon right now. Clodsire, Gastrodon, etc., etc. So not as strong there. Is ranked 242 and 260 in the Ultra League, which is not significantly better. But I can tell you right now, it plays way better than this. And the reason it plays way better than this is because this assumes the even energy, even one shield scenario. And you should not be using Ampharos like that in the Ultra League. You should be using it as a safe swap. So using it as a safe swap and getting ahead by like a Volt Switch really can change a lot of matchups up. So just to prove that, let's just go with the non-Shadow. Usually I like using the Shadow more, honestly, but let's just go non-Shadow. 5-25 record in the Ultra League, which is crazy. But you know what? Let's go down here. Let's get a Volt Switch through. That 5-25 becomes 18-13 real quick. And yes, a Volt Switch is a 4-turn move, so the likelihood of you getting the full Volt Switch through ahead is not true. Usually you do not get 4 turns worth of moves before your opponent makes the switch. But if you get like even half, as you can see, the difference in one full Volt Switch is 5 wins to 18 wins. So that is why it works way, way better as a safe swap. And even against like the ground and Guzzler, which resists all its moves, like there's your hard, and Verizon that resists all the moves, like there's your hard answer. But then when you get into like just even neutral matchups, you're still chipping in losses. So that is why Ampharos has a lot more play in the Ultra League, and that's why it is pretty strong as a safe swap. I guess I can look at Skuntank because it should have play in both leagues. You know, in the Great League, it's ranked at 105. It got Trailblaze buff. So as a Poison Jab user, being able to get to the Trailblazes, I'm pretty sure quicker is how it got buffed. Getting to it quicker and then buffing what is already a hard-hitting Poison Jab, right? Because Poison Jab, Poison Jab, as you're going to see by the damage, 4.2. I mean, Bite is more, but the difference in energy is not worth that little extra damage. So still doing 4.2 damage with a decent energy. Now getting to the Trailblaze a bit quicker, boosting your attack, and then upping those Poison Jabs. Really makes this Pokemon strong. And it's the same with Ultra League. This Pokemon is usually pretty good. Yeah, 42 as the Shadow, 62 as the non-Shadow. Really bulky as an XL Pokemon, but these dark poisons, obviously Drapion's ranked higher, right? So if we go to these poison, let's put in poison darks, Drapion is obviously 13, and rightfully so. The Aquatail only 4 poison stings to get to, 5 for a crunch, so you're just spamming with Drapion. But if you want to do like an ABB style team, Drapion Skuntank is a very common back duo that you would use on that course. So definitely look at getting some Stunkies if you can. And the rest of them I think are useless. Not as useless as the Dene. Honestly, I don't even hate the Dene that much. I just know it's always funny because Ryan Swag, who doesn't post anymore, loves it. So I always kind of... And Togedemaru, I know Togedemaru has a soft place, a special place in my heart. Helped me definitely run to some legends, some seasons, and I was dominant with it. But again, I can't use it right now. Not when... it is the 3rd ranked electric Pokemon, which is actually crazy. Ahead of Morpeko. So Togedemaru is actually the 3rd ranked electric, and Lantern as the 1st ranked electric is a water gun user. So it's acting more as a water than it is an electric at this point. So it's kind of interesting that it is ranked so high. I've got to imagine that some of these are Fell Stinger bait dependent, like boosting your attack with the bait Fell Stinger and then landing Wild Charge. And the reason I will not use it is right here, 38 against Gastrodon, 64 against Clodsire, 128 against Dunsparce, 290 against Malamar. And you may be wondering, what does those numbers mean? It means you get your ass kicked. Like real bad. So here we are, just to show you this. You are against a Gastrodon, the Mud Slaps, they don't even need to throw a charge move. Wild Charge, they grab a shield, and you can't even get to a second one, and they take you out completely, and they're only done 13 damage on 167 health. So that means you get absolutely destroyed. Even if you land a Wild Charge, it is single resisted here. So that does not a lot. 63 damage, and it's worse on the Clodsire because Clodsire is not half water. So yes, it's gonna be the same thing. But if you get rid of this shield and land the Wild Charge, it's not going to do anything. It does 34 because it's double resisted, so they're still left with a million health. So there's no point of using Togedemaru right now unless you have 2 answers for these Pokemon. So I loved using it. I think at this point I would rather use Morpeko, if I'm being quite honest, or Charjabug, honestly, because there were so many. Yes, Charjabug is going to have the exact same problems that I mentioned. At least it hits neutral with X Scissors on Gastrodon. All the moves are resisted on Clodsire, so you're still in trouble. But with more Primeapes and stuff, and there you got their Feraligators and Azumarill, I still think there's place for an electric, and I think Charjabug just plays a better role. And I think Morpeko just being able to go to Aura Wheel so quickly, and then that change form actually being able to hit neutral on these things, also very helpful. So you can like Psychic Fangs the first one if you don't want to do resistant move, and then go Aura Wheel. So I'd rather use those electric Pokemon as opposed to Togedemaru, even though I do really like Togedemaru. So those are most of the Pokemon that you need to worry about there. And Match League, we don't play Match League because no one watches it, because you guys can't play it because no one has the resources. But oh yeah, look at this. Origin. Oops. No, I do not want electric. I just want to look at Origin Form Palkia. The number 2, you need that Spatial Rend on it. But number 2, and you may be wondering, like, where is Dialga Origin? Down at 31. This is never true. And again, you need to... I love PvPoke. They give me a shout out on Twitter because they are getting off Twitter and getting off social media. And they give me a shout out saying, like, I'm one of the best at interpreting their rankings. So, and the reason that I use this all the time, but Dialga is ranked 31. It is not a true rank 31. It plays as like a top 10 Pokemon still. but it's ranked so low just because of how it sims. But in practice, it plays way better than it is. So yes, 31, but given its bulk, it should be like a top 10, 15 Pokemon. So definitely try and get some of those. Thursday the 21st and Friday the 22nd. Trying to figure out where I am that day to maybe do a raid or two if I'm out and about. But anyways, that is the event. So there's some stuff here. Obviously, you saw all these stars, which mean you have a chance for a shiny if you're a shiny hunter. There's some boosted fungus. Let's see if there's any other. Yeah, some of these are second level, like Ivysaur, Weepinbell, Agraveler, Magneton. These are all second level Pokemon, or first evolution stage, I guess I should say, which means they get more Stardust for catching. So definitely worth catching some Stardust Pokemon, a couple GBL Pokemon, a couple Pokemon worth raiding. So not a total wash of an event. So definitely hunt some of this stuff, but a lot of the stuff will be generally useless for now. But you know, I kind of looked at Ivysaur and like Shadow Vic and Venusaur, and you never know how the meta is going to change. There's some Pokemon. I'm trying to think of like a couple of these Pokemon. Like I don't want to say this Pokemon will never be meta, because you never know what move they can give a Pokemon. There's some Pokemon that just have more of an advantage, but I don't want to say don't go after this Pokemon, because you never know. So anyways, happy hunting. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one.